Questions for Coach? After doing the tape, what are your initial thoughts of how the weekend went?
Really good. I felt like we played great on both sides of the ball, played great defense. Our offense was clicking. Against Rutgers, we played a couple new, different players. They played great, so a lot to be very positive about.
Coach, what's the challenge of coming off of a high emotion game like Penn State and turning right around at Rutgers in another sold-out environment?
Well, I do think the fact it's sold out and where we go, it's a big deal, and that's motivation in itself. So being able to go to Rutgers, the fans were awesome. It was just a really fun game. That gym's pretty cool, the way it's set up, and so it was, I don't think our team felt any emotional letdown. I think it's more, the challenge was more getting into Rutgers late, having game the next day, so it was quick turnaround from a physical standpoint.
How was that gym set up? I've never been to Rutgers.
It was their basketball gym, so it's just like the bleachers go straight up, I feel like, and the acoustics are loud. It's loud, and it's just a really good volleyball gym. Holds 8,000, and the way it's set up, I think the way the bleachers are, I don't know what an architect would call it, but.
In that first set, you guys went down 0-2 against Penn State, and you basically went on a 25-4 run. What were you seeing that made your team so effective?
Just everything. I mean, I thought we didn't have that many opportunities to pass the ball, so we were playing great defense, and our transition offense was great, and just felt kind of like we were smothering Penn State a little bit from the service line and defensively, which is what you want your team to do.
Have you ever been a part of a run like that before?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe, probably, but not against a top 25 team.
When you go into the weekend like that, do you have plans to make lineup adjustments, or is that kind of a reaction after Penn State, evaluate where things are and make adjustments from there?
Yeah, it was definitely after Penn State, an evaluation, and I think Manaya would probably start at 99% of the programs out there. She's really good, so getting her more playing time is, I think, important for our team's growth. And then Skylar's been doing great in practice, and so she really deserved a whole game where she could work through some things if she needed to, and she didn't even need to work through anything. She played great. So just, again, continuing to build our depth and make sure players are comfortable and ready if they're called on, no matter what moment it is, whether it's just a Big Ten game, whether it's in the tournament. We don't know when we're going to need everybody.
Coach, what have you seen out of Washington? 500 team, but I believe they've won 2 in a row coming in. So
Well, we usually prep the second opponent first, and then we go to the first opponent. So we've been, really looking at Purdue these last 2 days. So I don't know a ton about Washington, except for some transfers and some players that I recruited in high school that ended up going to Washington. So can't really speak a lot about them. I know more about Purdue at this point.
You want to tell us what
No, just Purdue's playing great. The Kenna Woolard, their outside, was just the National Player of the Week, which is a really prestigious award. And they have the lefty from Nebraska, who's having a nice year. They're just really good. I think a lot of people thought they'd be down with the loss of Eva and Chloe, and then they graduated some of their main players, but they look really good, and they've got great chemistry, at least on film. So that will be a huge challenge for us, especially going there and playing in their gym.
How have you seen this team embrace the mindset of just taking each game, being ready for how other teams are prepping for you guys?
Our team is pretty focused on our side of the court, and I think that's very, very hard to do, especially throughout a season, is we're not riding the emotional highs and lows of our opponents, or like riding what they're doing or getting frustrated about what the opponent's doing. We're really being accountable with ourselves, and I think that's been the thing that's made it easiest to stay consistent with our play.
How have you seen that surface in some of your younger players like Teraya?
Yeah, she's just, again, I think with a deep team too, that helps, because she's, really wants to keep her spot, and she knows that those spots, the starting spots, are pretty fragile. But she's just giving to the team and doing what she can to help us win. And what's really huge is when our upperclassmen show so much confidence in her. For example, we were down 2-0, and against Penn State, and she gets the first ball or the first good pass or dig. I don't remember if it was pass or dig, but we set her out of the back row and she crushes it. I felt like that set the tone for the whole game. That we're going to use everybody and we're not scared and we're confident in our whole team.
This is the first weekend where you have a home and away. Are you changing up anything with the team and the mindset of preparing for them?
Not really. I mean, I've never experienced this type of a turnaround, so I think it'll be new. But we'll do our normal routine here and then practice at Purdue on Saturday because we play early on Sunday. So that's maybe a little bit different. I'd rather practice here and then go somewhere, but we need a chance to get in their gym.
Sigler kind of talked about one of the transitions from high school to college level is just you're getting points in different ways. How have you maybe seen her kind of tool her game to the college level now that she's, 14, 15 games in?
Yeah, when you're at the high school and club level, a lot of times your physicality can dominate an opponent, and in college that's not going to work. So you have to be a lot smarter, and you have to be able to mix up your shots, and you have to learn that you can't just overpower your opponents no matter who it is. So I think she's had to realize that, and now luckily she has a lot of power. So when she has the opportunity, she'll go for it. But she's become a lot smarter and realizing when she can and can't just rely on that.
Just trust you have in her, because I mean, she typically starts the match from a service line. To have trust in a freshman to put her in that situation at Penn State, how did you develop that trust to put her back there?
The big thing about Teraya is just her demeanor, and I think she's already got a lot of leadership qualities. So when you look at her, you tell her, hey, you got first serve. She's like, okay. She doesn't give you any type of look or vibe that she's not confident. And it was like that since the first game of the year. It's like trust her to go back there and stick a good serve. So I think a lot of it's just her demeanor just makes her feel like she's not a freshman.
Are you surprised or not surprised that you haven't lost a match yet?
I'm not surprised. We have a long ways to go, so it still feels a little bit early. And I do think with switching lineups some, and we've talked a ton about our depth, and we'll continue to talk about it. I think that's helped fuel a lot of it and helped us stay consistent, is that we want to play great against our opponents, but I think we want to, more importantly, play great for each other.
That kind of rotation isn't something a lot of teams do. Why is it so important for you, and why do you think this team is set up to thrive playing that way?
With making subs? Because I think they see each other do it in practice every day. And so it's not shocking when it's like, okay, we're going to start Sigler. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't think there's anybody on our team that's thinking like, why? Or that's weird. I think they expect it and they understand why, because not only are we telling them why, but they can see it every single day.
I guess for you, just how was your first true road trip and seeing the amount of Husker Nation that follows this team on a national level?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So I was not expecting that. Both places just felt like they were mini home games. Penn State obviously has a lot of fans, but we had tons of fans there, and they're like lining our bus when we're leaving, which is really awesome and just makes you feel kind of like a rock star. And at Rutgers almost felt more fun than being home because it's fans that never get to see us. So they're so excited and appreciative to be there, and it was just a really good vibe and a good feeling. And again, it surprised me how big this volleyball team's reach is, this program. It's not in Nebraska anymore. It's national and a little bit worldwide.
You thought you'd be good, you voted you number one. What are you proud that you've been able to take from the preseason and it's still showing up in matches?
Yeah, I feel like offensively, sometimes you come out hot and on fire, and then as the season goes on, people get worn down, or there's some misconnections, so then the trust starts to break. But this team's continuing to get better and better offensively, and the way we set our middles, and we've continued to just have a really balanced offense. I think that's a great sign of a good team. And we're not relying on just a couple people. It's literally everybody, every game has similar attempts, which is huge midway through the year.
When you see what's happening, Charlie got hurt at Wisconsin, but Minnesota's got cavalcade injuries.
Yeah.
Do you feel good about your depth and what you're able to build?
Yeah, what's crazy is just talking to the team about last week in practice, after practice, and I don't know if it was a good or bad practice per se, but I said, we have nothing to be like sad about or pouty about, because like the first thing I said is everybody's healthy. And it's crazy because then there you see all these injuries around the country, and knock on wood, we should be very thankful that we can all play. And so yeah, I'm very, very thankful for that. I don't remember what the question was, but
Do you feel good about your depth? You're able
yes.
to
And then, yeah, but then again, you see those happen and you think, wow, thankfully we do have depth, and we've had players that have played in some big moments. So that, I think, helps ease your mind as a coach. But, you know, you never want to see injuries happen to your own team or any other great players around the country. It's just a bummer for the sport.
Friday's a red-white stripe out. What are you looking forward to about that and what the fans will bring?
Well, I hope they all know what section they're in, so we can actually see the stripe out. I've only seen that work when they like put free T-shirts on the chairs, so we'll see. I haven't seen one yet here. I don't think there's free T-shirts on every chair.
Are we breaking a new court this weekend too?
I don't even know. I knew we were getting to Teraflex, but it's not down now for practice, so I don't know if we're having it for the game or not.
Is that something that's been in the works for a while? Or?
Yeah, I was just told that we're getting to Teraflex. I got to help with the design a little bit, but the new Teraflex courts were already in the works. So.
What was your in design info?
Well, I like the state, so I like the outline of the state, and then the red on the red is supposed to look like cornrows. So just trying to add a little bit of something without getting too wild.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Some 40s basketball.
Yeah.